Okay, guten Tag, Deutsch 1. Hier ist ein Video für euch für ein Quiz. Yeah, you're doing a quiz if you're watching this video on regular verb endings. What does that mean? Those are the little letters you add to the end of a verb to make it fit into a sentence, like I go. So take the verb go, for example. If in English, you say I go, we don't add anything to go when we put it in a sentence with I. But when we say he go, well, you can't say that. Oh, he go to the store. That's not right, right? So he goes. We add an S or an ES actually in that case to go to make it go with he and put it in that sentence. That's called conjugation. And in German, they use it a lot more than we do in English. So here is your cheat sheet if you're looking on the screen here. So you have ich, du, er, sie, es, wir, ihr, sie. So these are all of the pronouns you could possibly use, right? I, you, well, all of the main subject pronouns. I, you, he, she, it, we, you all, or you plural, they, and you formal, right? Now, let's go. This is the first side of our grammar table, our cheat sheet. Go to the second side, then we have verbs. And we're looking at this green one right here. Okay. So ich, okay, you have to add an E to the verb. Okay. For du, you add an ST. So let me just illustrate this. Okay. So let's take the verb gehen, which means to go or to walk. All right. So if you're going to use ich, okay, you take this en off. The en is kind of like a filler, or a placeholder, if you have, if you want to say it that way. It's what appears on the verbs in the dictionary, but when you use it, you take off the en. All right, and then you add these endings with the little line. The little line means add it. So you start with whatever's left after you take off that en. So ge, and then you add what's after the dash here, e. Where is that? There we go. Ich gehe means I go. Okay, and now we're going to look at he. Where's he? Right, it's down here. He, or let's do it. It goes. Okay, it goes. All of these er's yes take this T ending. So let's do S. And then we want to type in the gehen, this, without the ending. So G-E-H, and then add that T, gate, S-gate. That means it goes, right? It goes slowly today, all right? Es geht langsam. So that is how you conjugate verbs in German. Now, what's all this stuff after the parentheses or in the parentheses? Those are not steps. These aren't steps, and you don't do all of them. The things in the parentheses are things that you do when there are exceptions, when there are verbs that are really weird. Some verbs don't end in an en, like the verb for to hike, wandern, doesn't end in an en. So when you use it in that ich form, okay, normally we would take off the en. There's no en. So maybe just take off the n, and then it says ich wandere, and then you would add an e. But that sounds kind of weird, ich wandere. So a lot of times they take out this e, and it says ich wandere. Okay, not always. There aren't very many verbs like this, and so you just got to know which ones they are. Right now, we're not doing that, so don't worry about those parentheses. Okay, the same with those things in the parentheses after du. Although we are using this one right here. So, all right. If you've got a clear understanding of that, you can stop listening right now. If you want to know about the do forms there, the weird ones there, let me tell you. Okay, so do. If you have a verb that ends in an S sound when in the stem, like heißen, if you take off the en, it ends in an S sound. Or it might actually end in an S, like Zimzen means to text somebody, right? Zimzen has a, if you take off the en, there's an S there. For the dual form, you would usually add an ST. Let's think about how that would look. With heißen, like that. With Zimzen, it would look like that. Whoops, wait, sorry. I'm making a mistake here. Okay. That's how it would look if you add the ST. So this is heist, and then there's another S there, heist. That's just silly, right? So they don't add that S. They just add a T. They take out that S. The same with Zimst, right? They take out that S. They do not add the S. They just add a T. Okay. This also goes for things that end in, okay, here's one that's kind of weird, tanzen, to dance. Now, if you think about this, tanz, it ends in an S sound too, doesn't it? Tanz. So sure enough, in the do form, you don't add that. Okay, tanzt, du tanzt. All right. Okay, it's just an option if you see it. I'm not, right now, we don't have any of those verbs in front of us. And when we do, I'm not going to be super strict about that. But, okay, sometimes they only add in T. So if you see it, you're like, hey, wait a minute. You know at least what to do. All right, why the EST sometimes? Well, some verbs end in a very hard sound, like arbeiten. If you take off the en, you have Arbeit. This means to work. Okay, I work in a school. Ich arbeite in einer Schule. Arbeite. Right? If we just, okay, let's try this. If we were going to make it with do, we would add an ST. Arbeits. Okay, it's hard to pronounce. So they put an E in there. Arbeitest. Du arbeitest in einer Schule. All right, it especially makes sense with Arbeit, with the he, she, and it forms where you add a T. Yeah, right? You can't pronounce that. It's impossible. So they say, du, arbeitet in einer Schule. Er arbeitet in einer Schule. So sometimes if this ends in a very hard letter, they add an E to make it more easier to pronounce. Okay. Here's a good example. Zeichnen, to draw. Okay, think about this. Zeichnest. Zeichnest. You can hardly pronounce that. So that's to draw. So if you want to draw something, you would say du zeichnest. Or if you want to tell somebody to draw something. And the same with zeichnet, like he draws. He draws a zebra. Er zeichnet eine Zebra? No, he says zeichnet. Er zeichnet eine Zebra. So that's when you add the ET. So that's what these things in parentheses mean. Right now we're not doing that. We're just adding the very basic form. We're working with very regular basic verbs. There are thousands and thousands of verbs that go just like this where you only add those endings. So there you are. Let me know if you have questions. Take the quiz. Mach's gut. Tschüss.